President Uhuru Kenyatta used the 57th Madaraka Day celebrations to advance his agenda to have changes to the constitution and use the opportunity to, in his own words, push the reset button and change the country's political architecture. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kenneth Mureithi was at State House, Nairobi, and tells us why the Building Bridges initiative appears here to stay, or, in other words, today we had the drum rolls as reggae returns.
Constitutional changes are well on the way. If you still have doubts, you may have to bid your Thomas days goodbye. President Uhuru Kenyatta, in his Madaraka Day speech, made it clear that he believes it is time to relook and improve at the 2010 Constitution.
A moment that will right what we didn't get correct in 2010. But fundamentally, the constitutional moment that I discern, one that will bring an end to the senseless cycles of violence that we have experienced in every election cycle.
In a speech that was laced with references to the country's founding fathers, President Kenyatta took time to justify his assertions on a change to the supreme law. One key point is in the politics of the land, with a lot echoing the views of the Building Bridges Initiative report, such as moving away from winner-takes-it-all elections.
If we have done great things in the area of brick and mortar, the greater things that remain to be done have to do with our governance system, and we must not be afraid of changing the system if it does not serve our present and future purposes.
In his speech, the president noted the contribution of his father, the first president of the country, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, the country's first vice president, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and firebrand politician, minister and trade unionist Tom Mboya, in modeling the politics of the country. He said that it is key that the political class, whose divisive temperatures have been rising, and some being driven by the desire for self-gain at the expense of the very people who put them in power.
Indeed, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "We need political leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity."
The BBI ship's engine appears to be warming up and sails being set in place after being thrown off course by the storm that is the coronavirus pandemic. The head of state and his handshake corps principal Raila Odinga appear to be preparing things for a smooth sail, knocking off those who have proved themselves to be moving with a different tide, specifically allies of the Deputy President William Ruto.
If we are to push the reset button and reimagine our dreams as a nation, we must transform our civic culture to one that is based and biased towards duty, hard work, and integrity.
Now that the president has also been very categorical, and there are those pointers which you've also alluded to about the BBI, is this one of the reasons why there have been some of these changes that we have seen even in Parliament in readiness for this BBI and the next steps of action?
Please, I don't want to get into the issue of the Parliament at today's stage. That is a subject for another day.
I fully support the BBI process because that is the only way we can build a solid foundation for national cohesion.
The political realignments in the country have been aptly captured in President Uhuru Kenyatta's speech, where he has categorically said that it is time to press the reset button, even as the country prepares for a referendum. He has also alluded to the fact that there must be changes to Chapter 6, so as to make sure that the leadership and political culture in the country conforms to what our forefathers envisioned in their times. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV at State House, Nairobi.